There's a couple different versions. This recipe that I have, the easiest way to make a carpaccio is take that center quarter beef tenderloin. You can sear it if you want, very lightly. Then wrap it in the saran, which we've done here, okay? And then freeze it. And then all you have to do in those slices in the back, you slice it paper thin, you put it on your plate, okay? There's also the classic way of doing it, which you just refrigerate it or freeze it ever so slightly. And then I'm just going to cut this by hand, so you just cut it, throw it on the plate as long as it's thin. The most important thing with carpaccio is beef tenderloin is a great cut because it's very lean. Okay, you don't want to use a meat that's very fatty. You want to use something that's very lean. So that's why we're using tenderloin. Now, I'm going to do something a bit different here because in the recipe, okay, with the carpaccio, what I have is I have sort of a mix that I've done here, which is basically capers. We've got some flat leaf parsley, garlic, Dijon olive oil. I've got some dried thyme, shallots. There's some rice vinegar. I got some aged sherry vinegar here. This all gets mixed together, and that's the little marinade that's on the outside of the carpaccio. Okay, so it's been rolled. Once it's been cooked, it's been rolled, and then we can freeze that and we can slice that. But I'm going to show you a couple different things here. We're going to take the one that's already been in the freezer, that we're going to slice it. But what you can do as well is you can take this carpaccio, like I said, just take the meat, and then getting back to this real simplicity side of things, you wrap it, you can freeze it, and the great thing about freezing it entirely overnight is with those slicers in the back, you get this really nice paper thin carpaccio. Now, if you've ever had carpaccio, a carpaccio is all about the texture. It's all about the texture in your mouth, right? You obviously need a little bit of the fat, so you don't want to use a double A or a triple A. You almost would like to have, if you can, kind of an Angus or a Canadian prime in terms of the fat in it. You don't necessarily need it. You get away with a triple A cut in terms of this, again, because it's more of a textural thing, right? So in terms of presentation, you saw how simple the scallops were. I just want to show you with this carpaccio, because I'm going to make this. I'm going to make a little bit of this dressing to put on the top, and I've got a little bit of creme fraiche, horseradish, and grainy mustard. So I'm just going to take this. Now I've got a really sharp knife, so I'm going to take this and just cut off a few pieces for you. Again, this is the one good thing about doing this on the slicer in the back, is you can get obviously much thinner than my knife can do now. And when it's frozen, when it's completely frozen, you get an even better texture. Now, what's fun about this is that normally, especially in Italy, when you look at carpaccio, you're looking at a little bit of the meat, and then the meat, and a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of Parmesan, and that's it, right? So you're not looking for. You don't need to with this dish, and this is a great thing to serve your guests that share it, right? It's something that people can share, which I find a lot of fun. So on the outside, the one thing you'll learn from me is what I love flavor. I love not different. I just love really sharp components. That sort of yin and yang component of cooking. The Asian component where you got sweet and sour. It's a very important balance of your palate. You never want to have anything being completely one-dimensional on your plate in terms of having it being too sweet, too sour. Right? You need a little bit of both, and that's something I think that this is a little carpaccio dish does. So I'm going to show you this little mix on the outside. Okay, is just a little bit of a mix. We've got capers here. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of this Dijon. I'm going to take, this is the sherry, I'm going to take a little bit of the rice vinegar, all of it. I'm going to take some of the shallots, some of the garlic, maybe a little bit of thyme I'm going to put in here. Okay, I'm going to leave the flat leaf parsley for the end because I'm going to put it on top. Just going to mix this around. I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil, get my whisk. I'm going to make almost like a little vinaigrette. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do, just from a taste standpoint, I'm going to take this here. Never double dip. Never double dip. I've done that way too many times. Okay, so it's acidic, so it's a little more olive oil. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to spoon this on top of the meat. Around that side. Okay. Now, just to finish, I'm going to take a little more paper towel. I'm going to wash my hands 4 times. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, and again, just to show you how simple this is, I'm going to take a little bit of this salt we had again. We've got it. This is extremely, this dressing or the coating on the outside is very acidic, which works really well. So, but I'm going to cut that, and you're going to see. We talk about the yin and yang. A little bit of the salt, a little bit of the pepper. Okay. Now I'm going to cut that now by taking. I'm just going to take this. I'm going to mix this for you simply. I'm going to take some creme fraiche. Okay. I'm going to mix a little bit of this cream. Okay, with some mustard, or some grainy mustard, okay, and a little bit of horseradish, which has the bite. Okay, we're going to mix that around. Okay, what I'm going to do is, just when you're eating it, just in case you want a little bit of the cream, a little bit of the cream around the outside. Okay, and now you have, which kind of fun,